we talk about it all the time. In order to be great at anything, you got to be willing to do things other people aren't willing to do.
Yeah, every day.
Every day.
All right, and we're back in the studio, Cuzzo. We're live. Hit him with that intro.
Welcome back to the Electives Podcast. So this will be episode 24, and with it being episode 24, this is going to be a Kobe episode dedicated to him and everything that he stood for and everything that he did while he was here on the planet before he unfortunately, and him and his daughter, and as well as the other passengers on the plane, passed away. So with that being said, let's get right into it, man. Where were you not where were you, but,
like what
was going on, when he passed away?
Shit, I was just at home, man. Like, it came on the news, and, at first it was like, it felt like a hoax. I was like, oh, somebody's just spreading some rumors.
Yeah.
And then just slowly started as time went on.
As the day went on.
It was like, damn.
It was eerie.
Yeah.
I remember it being like an eerie feeling.
Yeah.
Because you thought like Kobe was invincible. He's one of those human beings, man, that if you hear something happens to them, you're like, no way. Like this guy was like Superman.
Yeah, he's like a superhero. Yeah, it was, even to this day, man, I still, it's still sometimes hard to like think about and be like, man, he's really not here.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No, yeah. And it was a horrific accident. It's not something that and I think that kind of made it even more unbelievable was a helicopter accident.
Yeah.
And this is something that he did almost every day from my understanding.
Right.
And so it was just like, it'd be like us just driving to work,
Right,
something
just another
happened.
day.
Yeah. So, and then obviously hear that his daughter was with him was devastating. But
I think that hurt the most.
Yeah.
Because, and even now when, if like a video pops up, it's like what we'll never be able to see is the hardest part. Because, it's one thing I got to watch Kobe, but I'm like looking at his daughter. I'm like, man, she can hoop.
Yeah, you wanted to see what she would become.
Yeah, and you just won't.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a tough part for me because, obviously because I have daughters too. So I was like, man, I couldn't imagine, So, and then I did go to the accident. I went to the scene when I went to L.A. For the, the Phil Handy clinic and, the Mamba Sports Academy. So it's held there. So that's cool. But yeah, when you walk up to the actual site, it's the same feeling as the day that it happened. Like you go up there and it's like super quiet.
Yeah.
And like the vibes are just like, it's just like, whoa.
Eerie.
Yeah. It's just like, man, it's just different. You're standing up there. You can see where the helicopter hit, kind of like the blades and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just, man, like going up there, it was just, man, and then it made it a little more real at that point. Like, damn, it is real, So.
Yeah. No, and you brought up, like him being, a father and having young girls and you having young girls. He built an entire movement around the girl dad, by taking Gigi to the games and, coaching her. And did he, in some ways, did he inspire you? Because I know that's something that, you've done with your daughters, like coach and.
Yeah. So it was definitely like inspiring. And then, I wanted to take on the same kind of, I guess, role that he plays in his daughter's life, and being there at all the games. And, you don't have to have like a son to play basketball. The girls can do it too. And then, kind of diving into that, diving into girl sports. And then you start to see like girls don't have this, girls don't have that. So it was, when Kobe started all that, I didn't, like advertise like some of these people like, oh, I'm a girl dad. I didn't need to do that. It was just kind of like I took on, what Kobe was doing, how he was doing it, try to learn from him, and then, apply it to, real life,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, man, Kobe had a huge impact on, at adult life, and then even as kids, man. I don't know if was Kobe one of your favorites when he first came in.
So Kobe was one of my dad's favorite players. Yeah, my dad's always been a Lakers fan.
Yeah.
He became a fan back in the '80s, with Magic, Kareem, James Worthy, those guys. And as the Lakers organization progressed, there was that era where they didn't have the Magic, the Worthy, and the Kareem, and then all of a sudden they ended up drafting this kid, Kobe Bryant, and then they're able to get Shaquille O'Neal, and then this whole new generation of Lakers basketball is built on the backs of Kobe Bryant and Shaq.
Yeah.
And my dad would always talk about Kobe, and he would say, like he might be better than Jordan. And at the time, I was too young to really understand what he meant by that. But as I got older and the more Kobe, that I watched, and then I remember we had to have been in middle school when he dropped 81.
Yeah.
And I just remember thinking in my head, like, 81 points, man.
It's a lot of points.
You got to be a different kind of individual to
even if it is against the Raptors.
Even if it is against the Raptors, man, to put up 81, and that to me, that was one of the moments I remember, like, okay, this Kobe, the guy that my dad was talking about, maybe he is, and he still wasn't even. He was in his prime when he scored 81, but I can't remember how many championships he had won at that point. I want to say 2.
Yeah. I can't remember how many it was.
Because they won in 2000 and maybe in 2001.
Yeah.
Was it 2000 or 2000?
The back-to-backs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could have been.
Remember.
But I have to fact check it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to fact check it. This is going to bother me.
Yeah.
I'll do it on the break.
Yeah, during the break, you have to fact check it. Because Kobe, when he came in, that number 8, I remember I always wanted to wear number 8, but none of our school teams had number 8. It was like a weird number. For some reason, they didn't have that one.
Yeah.
And then I remember his shoes, the first Adidas shoes.
Yeah.
The robot shoes.
Yep.
Those were cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was kind of like, it was after, it was obviously Jordan, Kobe, and AI. Those were like the 3 that, I started, when I looked at those 3, I was like, man, I want a little bit of Jordan, a little bit of Kobe, a little bit of AI. Like, those are the 3 players.
Mm-hmm. What impressed you most about Kobe? Would you say it was his work ethic, his mentality?
So when he was younger, it was the swag of his game. Like how he moved on the court. That's what I liked the most when I was a kid. And then as I got older, it was more, his mentality too. And then watching some of his interviews. And then I was like, man, he's just as crazy as Jordan.
Yeah.
If not crazy, he might be crazy.
He might. Yeah. No.
I think he might be crazier than Jordan.
I agree.
But Jordan just was so natural. With it, more than Kobe. Like Kobe had to work that hard.
Yeah.
But he was so he was just crazy. So I was like, maybe I got to be a little crazy too.
Yeah. No. Yeah. And we talk about it all the time. In order to be great at anything, you got to be willing to do things other people aren't willing to do.
Yeah, every day.
Isn't that why he changed his number from 8 to 24? Because I want to say like 24 hours, like there's 24 hours in a day, and his mentality was like every day,
Yeah, you gotta do something.
You got to do something to try and get better.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have to look that up too to fact check that one. Because then the other story was he wanted to be 24 was, one number above 23.
Okay.
So I don't know which one it was, but
right. And I'm sure knowing Kobe, I'm sure might have had both had something to do with it. You never know.
You never
just
know.
The way he was wired.
Yeah.
But his mentality in developing, something that got branded even was Mamba mentality.
Yeah.
We still use that phrase to this day.
Yeah, to this day, man.
It's a way of approaching something.
Yep.
Because what does it mean to you? What is Mamba mentality? When you hear it, what do you think of?
I just think of, that killer instinct, and taking things by like the horns, and like becoming obsessed with something, like whatever it is, like it's just laser focused, on whatever that goal is, and nothing's gonna get in your way, and if something is in your way, it's gonna get moved out the way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, when I think of that, that's what I think of. What about you?
No, it's pretty similar. I mean, yeah, you're in whatever space it is that you're in. You're just an absolute savage.
Yeah.
You take no prisoners in that
Right.
sense. It's just what needs to be done, and can we,
Yeah.
how are we gonna go about doing it?
Yeah.
And it's the ultimate like form of or not necessarily ultimate form, but just competing at the highest level.
Yeah.
Because really it doesn't have any. I mean, in going back to whatever space it's in, if it's on the basketball court, if it's in the sales room, if it's in wherever, it doesn't have to be. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be just in sports. This mentality translates in other places.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that, man. Competing at the highest level always, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's some of the things that Kobe brought for me, and then it was the work ethic. So it's one thing to have the mentality, but you got to go put in the work too. You can't just think about it. So, and he was he was one that they said his work ethic was crazy.
Yeah. They got stories, man, of like one that comes to mind is they were in the USA basketball team back in like 2008.
Yeah.
And I think all like Carmelo and at that time Carmelo, LeBron, Chris Paul, like they all had just gotten into the league.
Yeah, the Redeem team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And they had went out one night and they stayed up till like 4 a.m. And as they're coming into the hotel, Kobe's up.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, Kobe," and these guys are all drunk. They're like,
Right,
"Hey,
right.
Kobe, where you going, man? What are you doing? Like, you should be in bed right now." He's like, "I'm going to the gym."
Yeah. Yep.
He went to the gym and worked out
While
at
they
4
were
a.m.
coming
while
home.
these guys are coming home from a party.
Yeah. Yeah, another one was he said they kept inviting him out, and he was like, "All right, I'll come out." So he did the same thing. Like, they went out, did whatever, and then he woke up early, probably 4 or 5 a.m, and he was like, "All right, I hung out with you. You need to come hang out with me." And they all got up and took him to the gym.
Yeah.
Hurting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
he's a different dude.
Yeah, that's
He's a different dude.
When I heard him say that, I was like, man,
Yeah.
this man is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
he's serious.
And so, like, something that I would ask myself is, like, his wife, she had to have been, or still is, a great mom and a great supporter, because to be with a man like that,
Right.
that is got the flip switched all the time.
Yeah. What makes me think about what her mentality's like. She's got to be just as much as a killer as he is.
Or the exact opposite.
You think the exact
Because
opposite? Yeah, I guess that could
because
be.
you need
Yeah.
well, not that you need, but I just think with someone like him, you got to have the balance an opposite balance of that, like someone that's sweet, kind, and
Right.
just because two of them like that, two high level,
Well, I almost don't think if it's like her high level of competing, but just more of like her mentality is like she was the only person that could probably check Kobe in that way. Not like she's trying to compete with him or like I want to do this. I just think like for as crazy as Kobe was, she must have some type of killer mentality where she could check Kobe and be like,
"True,
hey,
yeah."
you need to
calm
calm
there,
down.
buddy.
Yeah.
You're right.
You're
right. Yeah, you're right.
Because, man, for me, I'm just like, man, I think if she just rolled over all the time, like, just didn't say nothing,
True.
I don't know if it would have made it that far.
True.
Or this far, I should say.
That's a possibility.
But that's just an idea behind the woman part.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But, so with the Mamba mentality, there's been some not negative opinions about it, but I think we've talked about it. the Mamba mentality is almost like if somebody has that mentality, do you find that person to be a likable person or a less likable person?
Depends on the space they're in. So if they're in a space full of other individuals that are like-minded, they fit right in. But if they're around a lot of people that they make uncomfortable, then
let's just put it in like reality terms.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like whatever space you're in, just life in general. Everyday life.
I really say yes and no, because like, okay, look at Kobe right now. Look at how he's loved.
Right.
You know,
but those are fans.
I know, but
those
even before he passed away, like look
right.
at how well he was loved and respected.
Yeah.
You know, like when you say likable, like in my mind, I guess what I'm thinking about is like there's a difference between being liked and being respected.
Well, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. We could cover them too.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying.
Likable. I don't think people. I think it's hard sometimes for people to understand the Mamba mentality, like truly understand it. I mean, but that's for the individuals that are going to that extreme.
Yeah.
You know, and then the other side of it is like the respect portion. I think is huge because you may not like someone like that, but you damn sure respect everything that they've done and everything that they've built.
Right.
You know. What about you? Do you think it's?
I'm on the same page as you. Mm-hmm. I don't think that person is very likable.
Right.
I don't think they can. I don't think they have a lot of friends. Mm-hmm. I don't think they can, because like you said, it takes a certain type of individual to be around an individual like that.
Right.
You know, because imagine having Kobe as your friend, and you doing something, and he comes and checks like, "Hey man, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
You know how many people like that?
Yeah.
You know, and if it. That when I think about it, I'm like, okay, the Mamba mentality is one thing, but if you're gonna do this, it almost seems like this is the price of it.
Yeah.
You know, if you're gonna chase something to be great at it, it ain't gonna be like everybody's your friend.
Nah, and Kobe from the little bit that I watched on him, like his little documentaries and stuff like that. He's naturally introverted.
Right.
He wasn't like someone who was always going out anyway. That just wasn't him. So like he was much more like, I'm gonna study, I'm gonna read a book, I'm going to do things that the average everyday person could care less about doing. You know?
Yeah.
But to him, it was important.
Yeah. It almost seems like he adopted that at an early age.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It could have been his personality. I mean, I do. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm not. I was just agreeing, like making a facial expression. You're good.
I was thinking about like being born in Italy. Or because he grew up in Italy.
Yeah.
You know, his dad was a professional basketball player. And one of the things that he brought up in one of his, documentaries is that he was already an outcast from a child. So he kind of developed that, that Mamba mentality and that chip on his shoulder from those childhood-like experiences.
Yeah. Of
being in a different country, speaking a different language, being made fun of. And also being black in Italy at that time.
I mean, that's a.
I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was getting.
Right.
I'm sure he was getting made fun of, harassed, different things like that. So.
Yeah.
He developed a strong sense of self, as a child, and figured out pretty much he could rely on himself. If he couldn't rely on anybody else, he could rely on himself.
Yeah. So, if you had a son.
Mm-hmm.
Or a daughter, I guess, because even he has daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something you will try to teach your kids? Or are you going to let them, not necessarily, kind of do it on their own, but kind of develop their own way of trying to do things?
So and I'm not nowhere near, top level athlete or anything like that. I'm just saying like
what are you talking about, man?
But I'm saying
you got trials tomorrow.
Trials. But I'm saying the athlete in me wants my children, to have that Mamba mentality, but only in certain spaces, only on the field or the court. You get what I mean? Yeah, school.
Yeah.
But I don't want them to be wired like that all the time. because I don't think it's healthy. As much as I admired and respected Kobe,
Yeah.
like it gets to a point where you're bordering on the line of like insanity almost, you know?
Yeah.
Now, I do understand like that's just a part of human nature. Somebody's always going to be like constantly pushing the envelope.
Right.
But I wouldn't want my kids to be like that 24/7. Just me personally.
Yeah,
you know?
I agree with that.
Me
I
personally.
agree with that.
So
Yeah, because I think there's times and places for it. Like if you're around like, you know, your boys or your girls,
right.
you don't need to be Mamba.
No,
at
you
that
don't.
time. You don't.
You don't need to be in the
You
corner,
know?
man, sitting there like looking like you're Michael Myers. You know, like
Studying people.
Yeah, man.
You
It's
know,
not necessary.
You know, that's. But yeah, I agree with that, man. But I definitely, like for me, I believe in instilling some of that in them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just from coaching
Mm-hmm.
alone, you know, even for all the other coaches out there, you will see some kids have it more than others.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it could be one, maybe just the kid's born with it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that could just be they're just born that way.
Mm-hmm.
But two, it could also be, you know, the mentality they get taught at home or what they get taught in school.
Right.
That like, you know, that I'm gonna go get it
Yeah.
at any cost.
Yeah.
You know, so I think I'm just agree with you. Like there's times and places for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you don't want them to be, you know, at their birthday party,
Like, well,
not
I'm
being
gonna
able
cut this
to
cake better than you. You know?
It's like slow down there, Bucko.
You're right.
You know, like just, let's give this kid a butter knife. Don't give him the
Right.
sharp knife because
Right.
you might chop a finger off.
Yeah,
or
he
two.
might do something crazy with
But
it.
no, man, it's you know, individuals like Kobe, man, we're very fortunate to be able to witness them. You know,
Yeah.
even though I think, like I said, in my opinion, some parts of him I thought were too extreme.
Yeah.
But I understood and can respect where that came from. You
Right.
know? And to be honest with you, if him and Shaq would have stayed together, I think they would have gotten another ring.
I don't know if they would have lost.
I think they could have gotten at least one or two more.
Yeah.
You know? And it's unfortunate because they had a falling out, but they were that close.
Yep.
That
But it's
close.
and it's because Shaq was so gifted, he felt like he didn't have to get better. It's just
Yep.
like,
Kobe
who's
used to
gonna
chew him
stop
out
him?
all the time.
Yeah.
All
But
the
imagine
time.
if Shaq did take on that. I mean,
They could have won five.
I don't even know who would have stopped him
at that time period.
at that time
nobody.
period. I don't know because
Yeah,
he went and
nobody.
won in Miami right after.
I know.
So imagine if Shaq was like in shape, took care, you know, learn how to do this. Man, he probably could have won 3 in Miami
Well, we'd be talking about Shaquille O'Neal as the best basketball player
of all
ever.
time. He would have been way better than Jordan if he would have stuck with it.
Yeah, and just dominated.
Yeah,
That would have been scary.
That would have been scary. So
40 points a game, 25 rebounds.
5 blocks,
5
6,
blocks.
7 blocks. Man,
Yeah, that would have been nuts.
yeah,
man.
that would have been nuts, man. But yeah, man. I mean, for the Kobe fans out there like us, you know, we wanted to take this first half
Mhm.
segment, just kind of go over like how his impact was for us and
Yeah, man.
shit. You know, the things we took away from him.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because I'm sure he's missed a lot.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. And then I was also excited to see what he was gonna do post retirement.
Yeah, we got robbed of that.
So much, man. You know, you could tell that this guy was a thinker. He was a visionary.
You know what? For me, the part that gets me the most is because my love for Jordan. I love Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
but Jordan's very to himself. You have no access to Jordan,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt like Kobe was gonna be the one to like give you the keys to the
Yeah.
to the road. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like Kobe was gonna give us that because he was on TV. He was talking. You had access to him,
Yeah.
and we got robbed of that.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right, man. And you know what I will say too? I think because he had like a children's book, I think, that he wrote.
Yeah, I
believe.
haven't. Book, and I think he had like a film.
Okay.
I think it was like a
yeah.
film with it.
Yeah. But I bring that up because, you know, with him being a girl dad, I do believe that softened him up.
Yeah.
That made him have to say, okay, I can't be going back to like what we're talking about. I can't have this switch flipped on all the time. Mm-hmm. That's not healthy for my little girls. They got dances, they got recitals, they have, gymnastics, they have, and I'm gonna have to go and talk to these parents and talk to these dads and talk to these moms when I don't want to talk to them.
Yeah.
But I have to learn how to be personable,
Right.
So I mean, yeah, man, it is unfortunate because he was right there, man, right there at such a crucial moment in his life, man, where he was getting ready to turn and start a whole new chapter.
Yep. So, miss you, Kobe.
Yeah.
But as he said,
rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace, Gigi, and all the other ones too that were in the plane crash. Because I think that's something too, man. There was 8 people on that plane or helicopter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. It's unfortunate.
Very unfortunate, man. And with that,
break time,
Mamba out.
Cool.
All right, Cuzzo, we're back from the break.
So
switching gears here.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about Kobe's mentality, the Mamba mentality.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with that, we all have to be students in mastering time. Kind of the most valuable thing that, us people in general have is the value of time.
Yep.
So what would you say, I guess, what's your idea on time and your thoughts on it?
Well, when you're younger, you're able to be more present, right? Because you don't have any responsibilities to really think about other than just waking up, eating,
right,
and being present. So
right.
When you're younger, you always think you have more time,
right?
But as you get older, if you're conscious and if you're aware of it, like you realize very quickly, it's not stopping for anybody,
right?
Right.
No, it ain't.
And so you want to try to get to a point, man, where at least for myself, I can't speak for anybody else, right?
Right.
I would love to get to a point, and I will get to a point where my time isn't absorbed as much by work, and other things that maybe not necessarily. It's not that I don't want to do them, but it's just that I'd rather be doing something else,
right?
With my time.
Right.
I know that one day when I have a family, I want to make sure that I'm there as much as I can be for my children, and that I can take some days off and go and take them to the park and different things like that. So my concept of time now that I'm older, has definitely changed. I'm trying to be more conscious of where I spend it and who I spend it with.
Right. Well, welcome to the electives class on time. All right, so there's 4. I've been in the same spot as you, as probably anybody else, trying to figure out how do I control my time, how do I get it back. So what I've learned is there's 4 different type of time managers. We got the drifter, got the 9-to-5, got the workaholic, and then the last one is the enlightened time manager.
Okay.
All right. So the drifter, we'll cover that one. Kind of self-explanatory. Just imagine yourself, you're just in the world. Wherever it takes you, it takes you. You have you ain't worried about time. It's just every day. I don't know what I'm doing today. Just whoever calls me, whatever I got to do, that's what I'm going to do. That's the drifter. Have you ever found yourself being a drifter?
Yep. Still do from time to time, if I'm being honest. Yeah, because...
Still do.
So, and I say that because, like, sometimes I think you need those days.
Yeah.
Like a day just to not have anything planned and just to enjoy it.
Right.
Really just to enjoy it and just to be present. Because sometimes... And I don't know if you've ever felt this way, but you could have a schedule lined up of things that you have to do in a day.
Yep.
And when it comes down to it, when you go to lay your bed, and when you go to lay your head down on the pillow at night, you don't even remember what you did first thing in the morning because everything was just back to back to back to back to back to back to back.
Right.
It just feels like it was a blur.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the whole week could feel like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
And it's not bad.
Bad.
But
no.
Every now and then, I think you kind of need a drifter day.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, because I mean, as we all have, you find yourself doing this, and I guess the key to it all is to not let yourself be a drifter every day.
Right.
You know, because if you're not, if you're letting, you know, it's what's the saying? How the saying goes? It's either you run your day or your day will run you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a drifter, I mean, you're just letting your day just take you.
Yeah,
you know?
and then the days turn into weeks turn into years,
bro. Just like our our episode with Kim. It's just like that's the most frightening part is you just lose track. You've been drifting for years.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the first one.
Okay.
First one. Second one is probably where majority of us are. The 9 to 5 time manager, which is, you work during the day, you want your evenings off, and you want your weekends off. So that's the everyday.
Yeah.
When's Friday?
Yeah.
Found yourself in that one?
Yeah, more so with not because my schedule's a little different with being a barber, but yeah,
right.
it's pretty yeah. So my Saturdays, I work, but yeah, no, for sure, yeah. I mean, I think especially before I was as busy as I am now as a barber, yeah, I would just sit there and from 9 to 5, I'm like, I gotta be here. I have to be at the shop. This is the only way I'm going to build my clientele.
Right.
So my mind couldn't be anywhere else.
Yeah, but for you it's a little different because you're kind of like on, you're a barber, but it's kind of like your own business. Mm-hmm. So I mean, you're there early, you leave late. Mm-hmm. If you got to, you have to. You got to be there on the weekends right now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So so you're not like the typical 9 to 5 guy.
Right.
You're kind of like on that border of, you're a business owner. Well, you're more, independent.
Yeah.
Self-employed business owner.
Mm-hmm.
So this 9 to 5, it's the example that they use is a person who wants to start their own business, but then they realize I have to get here early. Mm-hmm. And when the shop closes, I still got to work afterwards, And then the person, a 9 to 5 person, is like, I don't know if I want all these headaches. I just want to come to work at this time, and I want to clock out.
Yeah,
and I want to wait till Friday.
Yep.
Because they realize that not that they realize, is that they look at it and they say the price of success is too high for them, so they'd rather just be comfortable where they're at. Which is where majority of us find ourselves. Yeah. 9 to 5. And then afterwards, you want the time to yourself, which can be a problem in itself because then, it comes to, I just got off of work. I'm tired. The kids are like, come play with me.
Yep. They don't care. The kids don't care. You just worked.
You just clocked back in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're starting your second shift.
You started second shift, man. Second shift. Yeah. So that's the second one.
Okay.
You have any other comments on the 9 to 5? Like, have you found, like, I know you obviously a little different, but have you found like yourself where you're like, dang, it's kind of, or whatever the case may be. Any thoughts?
At times. And in my business, like I just remind myself in those moments where I am feeling that way, like, man, I'm feeling I'm like, okay, maybe I need to take a little bit of time off.
Right.
If I feel like I'm on the hamster wheel.
Right. The hamster wheel.
I need to take a break here,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, I do agree with what you said. I think there's a majority of the American population that is in that block, where that's their everyday,
What do you think it would take for somebody to get out of that?
Oh, well, it would go back to, I think of Rakia's episode where she talked about how, okay, she worked a 9 to 5 and she said to herself, I have these pockets of time throughout my day where I could be learning another skill that's going to get me out of where I'm at now.
Right.
So that would be my answer, is to, basically follow what she said. Yeah. Find whatever it is that you are passionate about or what you do have a skill for.
Right.
And invest time, if you can, if you're able to, at your 9 to 5.
Right.
Do it while you're there. In a sense, I'm not telling people to,
Right.
get the double bubble. But hey, at the
Right.
same time, if you can get paid and learn something new,
Yep.
and
Might
then
as
go
well.
and then go start your own thing, why not?
Yep.
If you can't do it during the 9 to 5, then you're gonna have to make time after your 9 to 5.
Right.
And if you have kids, that may be difficult. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe you can only do it on the weekend.
Yeah. Or 30 minutes.
Or 30
something
minutes,
like that.
30 minutes a day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. So the third one
Mm-hmm.
is, I think, the most, well, I'll just say it. It's the workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people kind of take that term workaholic and they switch it into something that it's not supposed to be. This is the person that I'm working all day, all night. And then they tell people, "Oh, I'm working."
Mm-hmm.
And then what's the end? Like, "Dang, man, you're always grind. You're on the grind."
Mm-hmm.
It's the and this person, there's never enough work for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're very, like, the more the better, for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that they're gonna reach a higher level of success.
Right.
It just means that they take on more work than they can handle.
Right. Yeah, it's tough, man, because I think about the way that the system is set up, and because of capitalism, right? When you think about Fortune 500 companies, or any company for that matter, who's ever at the top is usually a workaholic.
Yeah.
Because you're responsible for an entire company, so you're always going to be putting more work than any and everybody else, right?
Right.
To an extent.
To an extent, yeah.
And you're handling most of the responsibility. If things
Right.
go south, everything falls on you.
Right.
So the way that the system is set up, someone has to be a workaholic.
Yeah.
There's just no way, But you look at some of the most successful individuals, your Elon Musks, your Jeff Bezos, your Bill Gates, these are all still workaholics. These guys don't take days off.
Yeah.
There's no such thing.
Right.
Dan Pena.
Yeah.
Guys that are wired like that, they don't. I know Dan Pena, that dude, he's like Christmas. I can tell you the last time I was at Christmas dinner, and it's like you hear stuff like that, and you say to yourself, man, like, going back to like Kobe, that Mamba mentality, it almost gets to a point, in my opinion, where it's just, man, I don't want to find myself in that space where I'm
You're a workaholic.
And if I do, I only want to find it for specific moments.
Yeah.
Where I feel like it's necessary, and then pull back. But
Right.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
That just sounds like stressful.
Yeah. So it says that this can result in alienation of family.
Yeah, dude.
Loss of health.
Yeah.
And then a crisis to any of your values, whatever they may be.
Yeah.
Because you're working too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I found myself in that spot too. Mm-hmm. Working overtime, trying to take on another project that I probably don't need. That it's not gonna move the pieces forward. You know what I'm saying?
Now, can I ask you this? Because, do you think that sometimes when we become workaholics, or when we put more on our plate, it's because there's actually something else that we're not dealing with?
It could be. That's actually a good thought.
Because I know for myself, and I think if I could speak for some other men out there.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
When we got a lot on our minds, rather than dealing with it, it's like, I'll just go I'll go do this.
I'll go to work.
I'll go to do it. Yeah.
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 That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sure if I think back, like really thought back to all those times I was working, I'm sure there's had to be moments or multiple moments in time where I was just like, I'd rather just be at work.
Yeah.
And that could be for men and women.
Men and women, yeah.
Because there is women that are workaholics too.
True.
True. And they're not home. They're always working.
True.
So yeah, I think this is another one where a lot of us find ourselves in, and I also think this whole movement on staying on the grind is pushing people to do too much.
Yeah. We don't talk, and that's the thing, like with the social media culture, we don't talk about the side effects sometimes of
right.
these mindsets or these, you know, of course, like we talk about mindset and purpose, right?
Right.
But only to a point where you don't go to the extreme.
Right.
You know, you still have to find a healthy way of doing these things, of balancing your time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's tough.
Like we talked about in like an early episode, we might have to bring it back. But how, like I was telling you from one of the books I read, how it's like if you're gonna operate on extremes, then it has to be in pockets.
Pockets of time. Yeah.
You know, you can't, only when it's necessary should you be doing something at an extreme. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Yeah.
But which leads us right into the last one, the last manager, which is the enlightened time manager. And I'm not saying I'm there. I don't know if you could say you're there, but this is basically like, you know, like where we all want to be, and this is like the master of time. So this person has learned how to allow for every aspect of life.
Yeah.
So they learn how to manage the other three.
Yeah.
All in this being this manager. So this person manages time to drift. Schedules time where I'm not doing anything. If I want to sit on the couch, I'm gonna sit on the couch today.
Yeah.
You know, this is my drifting time. You know, then they are able to work in the 9 to 5 hours, but get as much done as they can in those hours. You know, so then now they're not working. Now they're not there early. They're not working too late.
Yeah, 40 hours in and out.
Yeah, whatever that time is, they're in there.
Yeah.
And they're getting it done.
Yeah.
And then in the last one, obviously the workaholic, they only do it when it's necessary. So if it's time to, if these next 3 days I have to hit it hard, then only for these 3 days will I do that. And then it's back to our regular scheduled program.
I'll be honest, man. I would like to meet an individual that is capable of doing all of these and consistently. You know, we're not talking about just once,
right?
You know, 1 year or 3 years. I'm talking about, man, someone that could show you that they've done this for 5-10 years, bro.
Yeah,
that would be impressive.
It would be. Now I wonder if some of the people you brought up, those high profile people, if because they have people managing their schedule, are they able to achieve this level of time management?
I say no. I say no.
Yeah.
Because in order to even get there, you have to be going even like with Kobe, man. Like, in order to be that good, in order for people to even compare you to a Michael Jordan, or say that you're better than Michael Jordan, you know how much work you got to put in? You know how many hours of you know, taking the same shot over and over and over and over again.
Right.
You know, Elon Musk to have built PayPal, because him and his brother, I believe, are the ones that built PayPal.
Oh, okay.
And then they took that money and invested it into SpaceX and Tesla.
Nice.
So, you know how many, and Elon admitted that he worked 100-hour weeks, 80 to 100-hour weeks.
That's crazy.
Because their philosophy was, if we double the amount of hours that everyone else is doing, then we'll be, in 1 year's time, we'll be 2 to 3 years ahead of where everybody else would be.
Yeah.
If they're just working 40 hours.
Yeah.
So I don't think those individuals, man, are quote unquote like enlightened when it comes to time. Yeah. And a lot of them too, man, are like like Elon, he has Asperger's, I believe is what it's called.
Oh, okay.
But it causes him to be like awkward socially. But then in these other areas of his life, he's got, you know, it could almost, I'm not saying that it is a gift and a curse, but from the outside looking in, it seemed like, you know, that's how it comes off.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos, workaholic.
Right.
You know, Steve Jobs, workaholic.
Mark Zuckerberg,
workaholic.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I think that in Steve Jobs' case, working like that had something to do with his health.
Yeah, just like it says.
You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I would be, let me think of and see if there's someone that I think that has mastered that. And I'll say this, if they have mastered it, it's probably someone that doesn't have a family.
You think so?
Yeah, because
you think if you have a family, you won't be able to do it?
Well, I think that there's just so many unknowns when you have
Right.
a family. Like your kid gets sick in the
Oh,
middle
yeah,
of the
there's
day.
that,
Like
yeah.
you know, now you're 9 to 5. Okay, yeah, you can't. You know,
Right.
your 9 to 5 is shaking up. And now you
Right.
are working. 45-hour, 50 weeks because
Right. Right.
So that's the only reason why I say that. It's like that kind of changes it a little bit.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah, because in this part it says they learn to leverage. So you learn to leverage a lot of your time, whatever, however that may be. Whether it's, obviously the Instagram would say you have to hire an assistant. What do you have to do to get an assistant? Now maybe that's the case, or anything else. Maybe you invest money in something and now it's making you X amount of dollars per month.
Right.
Maybe now you can work less.
Right.
Type
Yeah.
thing.
No. Yeah.
So it teaches you how to do that. There was one more part I was going to get to what you were saying. You were talking about you were thinking of somebody, but now I can't. It's not coming to mind.
All right. But the
But keep
person,
talking so
the
then
per,
I'll
yeah,
come back
the
to me.
person or the people that I think that have achieved it are like off the grid. They're not even like, maybe they have social media, maybe they don't, but they're not really showing people that that's the life that they have, because they're literally living it.
living
I mean, they're so on it that they're not even worried about
Right.
what other people are doing, or or trying to teach people what they're doing. They're just doing it.
Yeah.
Enjoying their life.
Yeah, and so maybe that's one thing we have to take away as people. Like, everybody lives their life on social media. I don't know if you remember the term, "Oh, my food eats first," because they take a picture of their food.
Yeah.
And we're so busy taking time out to post on there. Maybe that's where we're losing, like we talked about in our last episode, being present. So a lot of that doesn't allow you to be that.
I agree. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that's why, and of course, I say this stuff, right? But I always say when the day comes, it's gonna be completely different. But I don't want my kids to have technology too soon, because I don't want them to get hooked.
Yeah.
But I know that
It's very unfortunate.
Yeah, but I know that there's no way. Yeah, I know there's no way they're not gonna be able to not use it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, man. Yeah, that's true. So this is where I was getting to. Now I remember. So in this level of time managing, you have to ask yourself, what is the price of chasing that success? So if it's working 80 to 100 hours, right? And you have kids, what you have to, before you take on that project, you have to ask, are you going to have to sacrifice something that you value in order to get this? And if you're okay with sacrificing it, then obviously go do it. But if you're not, then there's no way you're going to be able to do that and then not have things go wrong on this end. And I think that's where we all got to get to as people, because as we talk about this, it's just things we've learned about. I find myself in different category. Obviously, it just depends.
Depends on the day.
Depends on the day, but the goal is to try to manage it. And what I've done is try to put everything in my calendar now. So now I know I have these blocks of time already out, and then I've realized how much more time I actually have. So I mean, I've tried to work at it every day by doing that. Scheduling things.
When's the last time you would say that you found yourself or you created space for yourself just to drift?
Man, I would say yesterday morning. So I woke because obviously my weekends are with games and basketball.
Yeah.
And Sunday was the first Sunday. Usually it's either Sunday or Saturday, or sometimes we have games both days. But Sunday I woke up and there was nothing on my phone. I didn't have anything to do. So I sat on the couch with my little one, and I turned on 2K and I played for like 2 hours.
Nice.
But I felt great, man. I felt great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so I mean that was the last time where I was just like, oh well, I don't have I obviously got my lift in.
Right.
I did get my lift in because I was like,
Right.
if I'm gonna drift,
Yeah.
I didn't say that drift, but since we're talking about it,
Right.
using the term drift,
Right.
if I'm gonna drift, I need to get at least a
Do
lift in.
something. Yeah.
So that way, when I drift, when I do that, I don't feel as bad. Like then I can feel good about it. So
Yeah.
man, I got my lift in.
Yeah.
I'm chilling.
See, but the crazy part is like you shouldn't even have to think that way, right? If you're truly just drifting, but that's a part of you that
Right.
is still wired in you.
I
I can't let myself just enjoy something.
Right. I have to
There
pay
has
the
to be
price to enjoy
exactly,
it.
exactly.
Yeah. But see, I think so.
And that's not bad.
It's
That's not bad.
Yeah.
No, it's not
yeah.
bad.
Everybody can kind of pick and choose how they want to do it. For me, in order to do that, I feel like I have to pay something to do
I
it.
get
Whereas
it.
like,
I get
because
it.
if I don't, I feel like I'm not. Like I didn't earn the drift.
You're doing
I didn't,
yourself a disservice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't earn it.
Yeah. No, I
So-
get it, man.
Yeah, so when I, when I was going through this and, trying to manage my time, it was definitely an eye opener as to where you find yourself,
Mm-hmm.
Falling in these categories.
Now, do you think you'll reach that enlightened portion?
I don't know. I'm kind of like how you said earlier. I feel like when you have kids and, basically when you're a normal person, any normal person, we'll just call it a normal person.
Right.
There's so many unknowns that I think if you do your best to try to manage what you do, the knowns,
Yeah.
then maybe when the unknowns happen, it's not as bad.
Right.
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 But to achieve like that part, I mean it's like you said, dude. Like you gotta
be a monk.
a monk. Yeah,
Because
they're probably the only ones that know how to do it.
But that's why they're enlightened. I mean, the irony, being enlightened, Buddhism, all that.
Yeah, right.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah, I think as long as you every day you try to do it.
Yeah, because if you're not in a relationship, even if you're you don't have to have kids, bro. Just being in a relationship.
Yeah, that's
You just it's not that simple, man.
you ain't gotta cuddle her all day.
Right.
You gotta manage that, man.
Right.
Yeah,
but yeah, man.
Yeah, so this that very interesting when I learned about it and you started categorizing it.
No, and these things, for our viewers and our listeners, man, we're, as you guys can see, we're no different than you guys. We don't have all this stuff figured out. I mean, these are topics that we discuss, but we're still trying to figure this thing out we call life, just like everybody else.
Going through it with you guys
and balance it.
Yeah. But we hope you guys took something away from this episode, especially with with the Kobe's and managing time. Hopefully maybe you can find yourself in a category and try to work at it. And hopefully it helps you out.
Yeah. And with that being said, as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We've got some exciting things coming up here in the next couple of months for you guys. So just stay tuned, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.